Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin وعلى آله محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى ثم أما بعد. I want to thank the people for having me here in the community. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يألف بين قلوبنا على الحق. We ask Allah to gather our hearts upon the truth. وأن يعلمنا من كتابه وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. That he teaches us from his book and the knowledge of his messenger عليه السلام. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى لنا جميعا هداية علم نافع رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. And I ask Allah to enrich us and give us all knowledge that we can comprehend and use, digest, and to give us that which is a wholesome provision and actions that Allah accepts from us. Ameen. We want to mention some benefits from the Quran, along with talking about the importance of coming to the masjid. As the Imam asked me to talk about, mention some of the importance of coming to the masjid. And we know that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, he mentioned to his noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِ مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا سُبُلًا فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told the Prophet clearly, this is my way straight. This is my way straight. Follow it. And this is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is mamluka lillah. He belongs to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Wa abadillah. He is the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Arsalahu Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala bil huda wa din al-haq. And Allah sent him with guidance in the way of truth. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told him, this is my way straight. Fattabi'u. Follow it. Wa la tattabi'u subulan. وجاء سبلا في صيغة الجمع وفي صيغة المبالغة. It is in the plural form and exaggerated to show the seriousness of this. That the sirat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala huwa wahid. The way of Allah is one way. Not 1.5, not 3/4 of a way, not 5 or 6, it's one way. But in that, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala still told the Prophet ﷺ, do not follow the other ways. Subalan. Why? فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. Because following the other ways will pull you. It will distract you. It will deviate you from the way of Allah to other than the way of Allah. And that's why Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, he said to his Prophet, اتَّبِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. And I command you to follow that which has come to you from your Lord. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا مِنْ دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Do not follow a way other than that. ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب الكريم قل هذه سبيلي أدعو ilallahi ala al-basira. And say, O Muhammad, to them, this is not something of folk tales. Say to them, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is not something that I learned from the Bible. As the Kadabin and the critics, they lie and say Muhammad copied the Quran from the Bible. Wala'iyadu billah. Say to them, O Muhammad, this is not poetry and tales from the shaitan. Rather, this is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ad'u ila Allah ala basira. I am calling to the way of Allah ala basira. And some people, they have taken upon themselves to say that basira means some insight, something that's yani asfali min al yani al-hissiyah, that which is underneath is not the basic what people can look and see that's common folk. Some like yani special intrinsic type. La, this is not the meaning of basira. Linguistically, maybe. أما هنا في الدين هو بمعنى الحجج. It is the meaning of what is evidence, the word basira. And this Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala told the Prophet to say, Ana wa man ittaba'ani. Me and those who follow me were upon basira. Showing that the Muslims, mashallah tabarakallah, this is our way. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended it by saying, Subhanallah wa ma ana min al mushrikeen. And this subhanallah نزع الله تبارك وتعالى عن نفسه من العيوب ومن يعني من خصلة ماذا المخلوقات. And Allah is denying about himself with the word subhana that he has anything of deficiencies, any blemishes or blames, any types of characteristics that will make him like that which he created. And then he affirmed to tell the Prophet ﷺ to say to the people, Ma ana min al-mushrikeen, and I am not from those who make shirk with Allah ta'ala. So that, inshallah, is one of the main reasons for the foundation of the masjid, the learning, the gathering, the coming to a place where you can have any tranquility, you can have a break from the outside world, and you can embark upon those injunctions that you just heard. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to embark upon those injunctions. Ameen. We will talk, inshallah. We will talk, inshallah, from the book, the Rules of the Quran, lessons from the Quran by the esteemed Sheikh, Fadilatul Sheikh Al-Lama Salih ibn Abdullah Al-Fawzan حفظه الله تبارك وتعالى.
نعم. الأول معنى الإسلام. الإسلام يراد به
يعني سم الله عشان البركة والتدابي سنن الأنبياء والمرسلين. بارك الله فيك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معنى الإسلام. الإسلام يراد به ما يقابل الشرك والكفر والأديان الباطلة.
هنا, here the Sheikh is mentioning the purpose and the meaning of Islam here is that which Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has commanded our father Adam all the way to the day of judgment. That is the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the abandonment of shirk. And everything that's opposite of that, then that can be called Islam. Everything that's opposite of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purely, and everything that's the opposite of staying away from partners with Allah, then it can't be called Islam. And this is one of the main reasons why, growing up in America as African Americans and those people from this land, we know about what's called the Nation of Islam. And many people to this day, they still confuse the Nation of Islam with Islam. But this is one of the main reasons that we say that this is not Islam. And we ask Allah to guide them to Islam. And we ask Allah to give us the ability to help them in that if we can. This is one of the main reasons why we make the distinction that it's not Islam, because it is not free. that which they have built as a foundation of belief, it is not free from shirk. Rather, they say that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He came in the form of Master Farq Muhammad. Wallahu musta'an. Wa la'adha billah. A'adham billah. That Allah can come in the form of anything. And also they mention from the main things that Elijah, who was known as Elijah Muhammad, he was the messenger of Allah. So this is one of the points they want to mention here.
فإذا قيل دين الإسلام فالمراد به ما يقابل الأديان الأخرى الباطلة.
Now, so when we talk about, the Sheikh is saying, the meaning of Islam, هو ما يقابل الأديان الأخرى. It is those other ways that we have. Then we're talking about those when we talk about those religions or those ways. And when we say Islam, then it's that which is the opposite of those other ways and religions. This is inclusive in the meaning of Islam.
وتعريفه في اللغة الانقياد يقال أسلم واستسلم إذا انقاد.
Now, so here the Sheikh is showing the derivatives and the various ways that the word should be understood linguistically. As most things that have two meanings. Luqatan, the linguistic language meaning of the people. Why? Sometimes they say diniyan, that which is technical as it relates to what came from Allah. Or they say istilahiyan, that which is technical, another word they use to show religiously. Or shara'iyan, that which is legislated. All of them mean that it came from Allah. So here the Sheikh is showing the linguistic meaning. And sometimes the linguistic meaning is the same as the religious meaning. And other times they are different in their meaning. So here the Sheikh is making the distinction that to comply, to submit, to cooperate, to submit oneself to something, to yield to something, all of these are the linguistic meaning of Islam. And that's why when the people that say Islam means peace, we say this is at least shubhat indahum, misunderstanding. Because you understand here, the meaning does not have anything to do with that. Rather, you will gain, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, juzan mina salama min Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, wa in kana shakhsun muhsan في الدنيا والآخرة ماذا سيكون له سلامة التام من عذاب النار ومن قبل ذلك من عذاب في القبر وفوزا إن شاء الله تبارك وتعالى في الجنة النعيم. And if Allah wills, if the person is able to rise and meet only by Allah's permission and guidance the level of ihsan, where he is a muhsin, the highest level of deen, then he will have in this life a portion of safety and happiness from the punishment of the grave. Therefore, on the day of judgment, he will be spared from the fire and he will be successful by the rahmah of Allah going to the paradise. But we see here the Shaykh has mentioned the submission, the compliance, and not that Islam means peace. Wallahu musta'an. And even if وَلَوْ كَانَ فِيهِ مَعْنَى سَلَامَةً لَيْسَ بِمَعْنَى عَلَى إِطْلَاقٍ. Even if the meaning of peace is incorporated in the meaning of Islam, it does not mean that absolutely. تفضل.
ومعنى الإسلام في الشرع وهو استسلام لله بتوحيد وانقياد له بطاعات وخلوص من الشرك وأهله.
This point is a very important point. Hafizakum Allah. May Tabaraka wa Ta'ala bless us all. And that is the Islam religiously. الذي أراد الله سبحانه وتعالى بنزول وحي وهو ماذا استسلام لله. To submit yourself to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. To humble yourself to Allah Jalla wa Ula. And how do you do that? How do you do that? Then it is understood بالتوحيد والطاعة, by obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by tawheed, this is a very broad meaning. although the scholars they say يعني التوحيد أخص من يعني عقيدة. The tawheed is more particular than the word used aqidah. But this here is talking about firstly في وجود الله سبحانه وتعالى, in believing that Allah exists. This is the first step of tawheed. Because if you don't believe that Allah exists, then there's nothing after that regarding Allah wa ta'ala. The second, rububiyyah, is lordship. كما قال سبحانه وتعالى وَسَأَلْتُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ فَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهُ. And if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they, the pagans of old, they would say Allah. وكذلك في ألوهية كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب الكريم وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. I command you to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not make shirk with Him in any way. And في أسمائه وصفاته جل وعلا, in His names and attributes, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ, that Allah He sees, and He created creation that see. And Allah He hears, and He created and gave them as a mercy the ability to hear. But يعني لَيْسَ السَّوَاء, it's not the same. Therefore we don't need to say that hearing doesn't mean hearing, because if we say it means hearing, we're making Allah like a human. So to save ourselves from shirk, let's say that the hearing means something else. We don't need to do that. And the issue of Barakallahu fikum, that Allah He sees, we don't need to say that Allah He doesn't see. وَنَفَ عَنْهُ يعني له بصر. We don't need to say that Allah He doesn't have vision, because if we say He has vision, we're making it like us. No. Allah said He has vision. Allah said that He sees and that He hears, and then Allah Ta'ala in the beginning said لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, like the statement La ilaha. This is the beginning, النفي ثم إثبات إلا الله ثم إثبات وهو السميع البصير, and then you affirm that even though He's not like anything, He's in His own category of seeing everything all at one time and hearing everything all at one time. So this is very important when we talk about Islam 101 in the category of what is Islam.
فإن المسلم لا يجمع بين الاستسلام لله ولغيره, ولهذا من استسلم لله ولغيره فهو مشرك.
Allahumma musta'an. This is very important, that it is not able for the Muslim to mix his submission to Allah and someone else along with that. You have two scenarios. Someone submitting to something else, and you leave Allah totally out the picture. Someone who submits to something else, or someone else other than Allah, and Allah is nowhere in the picture. Then you have the one that submits to Allah, but he's going to join and add some submission also to something else. And this is why, in the issue when we were Christians, like myself 30 years ago and others before that, the issue of the Trinity is a clear violation of the deen of Allah Ta'ala, because it brings Allah and something else. Likewise, if a person was to say, Wallahi wa Nabi, I swear by Allah and the Prophet, he's bringing the Prophet in the issue of swearing, which is worship. Because Ta'ala has prohibited us to swear by anything other than Him, Jalla wa Ula. So it is not possible for the Muslim. وَلَوْ كَانْ يَدَّعِي أَنَّهُ مُسْلِمٌ وَلَوْ يُصَلِّي خَمْسَ صَلَوَاتٍ فِي الْيَوْمِ وَاللَّيْلِ وَلَوْ يُصُومُ دَهْرُ أَوْ غَيْرِ ذَلِكَ لَا يَنْبَغِي وَلَا يُمْكِنْ أَنْ يَجْتَمِعَ الْإِيمَانِ مَعَ كُفْرٍ أَبَدًا. And if the Muslim, even if he says his shahada, even if he was to pray, even if he was to fast the whole year or more than that, if he was to mix his Islam with that which is other than Islam, then there will be no way for him, no possibility to have the Islam accepted.
ومن أبى أن يستسلم لله فهو مستكبر كما قال الله تبارك وتعالى بلى من أسلم وجهه لله وهو محسن فله أجره عند ربه ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. هذا هو الإسلام. نعم.
The Sheikh is mentioning a part of the religion that in the end is connected to one of the highest parts of the religion. The first part, وَمَنْ أَسْلَمْ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ. So whosoever submits his face to Allah. Here it doesn't mean he submits his face. يعني ليس بمعنى يعني حسية. Submits his face. What about his heart? هل يمكن واحد يسلم وجهه دون قلبه؟ أبدا. Person can't say, okay, I'm giving my face to Allah while his heart is somewhere else. Here, yani, his face is talking about that person himself, devoting his whole self to Allah Ta'ala, as the face is part of the human being. So here Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is talking about the fact of submitting to him. While in the end, he mentioned, وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ. And this shows that a person can start off as a Muslim and struggle. And then Allah can bless him to become a person who has Iman, which is the second stage. And we learn this from the Hadith of Jibreel. And then the person, if Allah wills, she or he can achieve Muhsin. And we mentioned earlier, when Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentioned the different verses in the Quran, Inna rahmatullahi qareebun min al-muhsinin, that the mercy of Allah is right there close for those who are the muhsinin. It's tangible, not far away. Tabarak wa Ta'ala also mentioned the likes of وَالْكَاثِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And the one, he controls his anger. Let us think about this challenge, controlling your anger. What a task. But the one who can do it for the sake of Allah, at the time when he could explode, at the time when she could lash out, and on top of that, they are partnering to the people. These are two qualities of the one who has achieved ihsan in his religion. So this, the Shaykh has mentioned this verse, which is a magnificent verse that talks about Islam, while it goes to the maratib a'la min ad-din wa huwa ihsan, while it goes to the highest level of a person's Islam, that is perfection all the way around. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala musta'an wa alayhi tuklan. And we ask Allah to make us from the muhsineen. Ameen.
هذا هو الإسلام، الإخلاص لله بتوحيد، والانقياد له بطاعته، والبراءة من الشرك وأهله، يعني أهل الشرك، فيبغضهم ويعاديهم لله عز وجل.
Here the Sheikh is making a point that needs to be emphasized, because we have very much misplaced, misunderstood, and in some cases been miseducated to this fact. The Sheikh is talking about the Islam, and he's bringing statements that they are statements that are rooted in the book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's talking about the Tawheed, that is in qiyad, compliance, submission. If the people tell you buckle up, don't drive drunk, and you buckle up and you don't drive drunk, this is called compliance. This is a good thing. It's universal. It's for order. It's for benefit. It's for organization. It's for the people to have a good result. Safety measure. Here the Sheikh is talking about this as it relates to a person's deen. This is the safety for you to submit to Allah wa Ta'ala by way of tawheed, by way of obeying Him. And then the Shaykh, he says, وَالْخُلُوص مِنْ أَهْلِ الشِّرْكِ. Today, if you talk about Al-Qaeda, known as Al-Qaeda, today if you talk about Daesh, so-called Islamic State in Syria, you talk about Jamaat al-Tawheed wa Jihad, the people that have the organization of Tawheed through fighting, killing. you talk about any of these so-called representatives of Islam, that are upon clear 100% falsehood. And we have no fear of saying that Islam is free from all of these claims and groups and what they think and what they make the people feel is Islam. If we talk about them, all of them describe being free from those people of shirk as a way of hostility, as a way of terrorism, as a way of making Islam look black in the sight of the people. But we ask you, did not the Prophet ﷺ live in Al-Medina with the Yahudi, with the Jews? And these Jews were not from amongst the people that plotted against the Prophet with the mushrikeen of Mecca and those people in the surrounding areas. So what does this show you? That khulus does not necessarily mean that you're on a land by yourself and everybody's Muslim. And khulus does not mean that you show aggression to people, hostility towards people. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing how the Tawheed, how the Islam is. Firstly, that you're free from their ideology. You're free from their concepts of worship. And who knows that better than the convert or the revert in America, in Canada, in Great Britain, in these places where we accepted Islam. And one of the biggest things we have is when it comes to Christmas. Our parents, our relatives wish that we were there with them. When it comes to the various things, New Year's parties, and believe it or not, I hate to say it, birthdays. Which many people say, oh, here we go. He's extreme. He mentioned birthdays. Allahumma musta'an. But the reality is that whether we talk about something being right or wrong, this is what we face. That when we try to practice Islam to some degree, we have to give that up. While we still have a reality that they're from our people, we have to find a middle ground where we don't push them away. But we tell them, this is what Allah Ta'ala has decreed for us. This is the Islam. And that you will not find any of the prophets and messengers celebrating Christmas. Hatta Isa ibn Maryam, even Isa, you will not find them celebrating a birthday, even their own. وَمِنْ أَيْنَ أَتَيْتْ بِهَذِهِ فِكْرَتِيَاتِ. Where did they come with these different ideologies? So this is the beginning of khulus from the ideology, from the way that we think, the psychology, and the way of the Muslim has to be different from them. Which brings me to the point, wallahi, today, the people, they like to say the three Abrahamic religions. Allahumma musta'an. What is this ta'rif? The three Abrahamic religions. And they say Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And they like to talk about al-hiwar bayn adyan, religious dialogue. Wallahi, we must have some type of relationship with the non-Muslim. You must have some type of socialization with them. Many of them are your neighbors. They have a right on you. Many of them, you work with them. They're people that are nice to you. Some of them will help you, unfortunately, before the Muslim. So how do we think we can live in a society and isolate ourselves from them? It's impossible. But at the same time, we are not from amongst those that Allah has given the permission to think that we have did inqiyad lahu subhanahu wa ta'ala. We've submitted to Him, and we could take this and mix it with the three Abrahamic religions. Because of aslu and the haulai hum alladhina kafaru, kama bayyana Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لقد كفر الذين قالوا إن الله هو ثالث الثلاثة. And indeed, those who say Allah is the third of three, what happened to them? They kafaru. هذا من قول الله جل وعلا. This is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقالت اليهود عزير بن الله. And the Jews, they said Uzair is the son of Allah. This is from Allah Tabarak wa ta'ala. There's nothing we can do about that. Even my mother, she died on other than Islam. What can I do about that? Rather, the Prophet ﷺ, they asked him, O Messenger of Allah, where is your mother? Alayhi salam. Where is your mother? Thinking that maybe she's in Jannah because he's the son of her, or she's the mother of him, the messenger. Prophet said, here fi nar. Thumma bakau. Thumma baka. Wa bakau man hawlahu. Then the Prophet cried profusely, and those around him started to cry with him. هذا ليس بأيدينا بل هو بيد الله سبحانه وتعالى بعلمه وحكمته جل وعلا. This is not in our hands. ولو كان في أيدينا كانوا في جنة. If it was in our hands, they would be in Jannah. Who doesn't want their mother to go to Jannah? It's not in our hands. It's not in our hands. So this shows that, number one, we're not being extreme when we talk about these issues, because some people feel we're being extreme. We have mothers, we have aunts, we have fathers, we have brothers and sisters. Most of us, our people don't come to Islam with us. Wallah musta'an. يؤتيكم كفلين من رحمته ويجعل لكم نورا يمشون به. And Allah will give you 2 portions of the rahmah from the people who have this challenge that were from the people of the book. And He will give you a light by which you walk with because of this test. And wallahi, how can we come this day with all of the stuff, the lies about Islam and so forth, and think that we can sit and do comparative religion? Let's just sawa. And if we compare, ثم ندعي بكلامنا وبقلوبنا أن الإسلام دين الباطل. أن الإسلام دين الباطل. And if we sit and we think in conversation or in our heart that this is okay, then in reality we're saying Islam is the religion of falsehood. Because we're making them sawa. We're making them equal. We're making them equal. Allah musta'an. And this does not prevent us from having programs. We should call our neighbors from the Jews and Christians, preferably to a place where we have the upper hand. Because Allah, as we mentioned last night, there's some narrations where the brothers, they engage in this thing called interfaith. And we say, what is the word inter? With the I-N in English. It means to merge. You say interstate highway. That means it goes from state to what? State. Now, دخل الشيء في شيء. So they took that. ويلبسون على المسلمين. And now the Muslims have been hit across the head with deception. But this doesn't mean that we can't have programs, that we're not sociable, we don't look after them. It's what Prophet ﷺ did. But you cannot have somebody in the masjid, he's talking about whatever he likes on his tongue about the religion. Someone else talks about whatever she likes, yani on her tongue from the religion. La yajuz hada. So the people thought that, okay, we'll make them comfortable, we'll go to the church. Number one, the people, they like to say that the Prophet ﷺ, he went in the church. They use this as evidence. And we say that there's no authentic narrations that our Prophet ﷺ seen the inside of a kanisa abadan. Even when he went to Syria before prophecy as a person doing tijara, there's no authentic narration that he went inside or seen the church. Rather, his companions, لما هاجروا إلى حبشية يروا كنيسة من داخل وخارج. But some of his companions, when they went to Ethiopia, they see the churches from the inside and the out. And that they narrated to the Prophet. So we cannot say the Prophet was in the church, I'm following the Sunnah. Number two, Barakallahu fikum, yani you go in the church and there's a ruling about praying in the place where there's tamathil, or surah, tawati arwah. pictures that have images that they're really living beings. There's rulings that go with this. The only time you can pray in a place where those idols were there in pictures, when you have no other choice, bid-darura. So you go freely, you go voluntarily. Rather you leave the masjid to go there, then how is this a sheer necessity? No other choice. The third thing is that, when a person comes to you, you're the host, you're the guest. So that happened. They went to the church. The people hosted them with good food, good hospitality, mashallah. And they let them call the adhan, demonstrate the adhan. That's a good thing. They let them recite Quran and things like this. And this went on for a period of time. In the beginning they said, we'll come to your place. And then they said, and you could come to our place. When that was over, now it's time for them to switch. For the people of the book, meaning Jew and Christian, to come to our place. What do you think they did in the masjid? What do you think they did in the masjid? La tastahi. Anybody?
They prayed and they did their thing.
They prayed, they did their thing. So they prayed the salat.
No.
Salat al-Maghrib.
Nah, not the way we pray.
Not the way we pray. MashaAllah. We'll see. He said they prayed, they did their thing. To the right, what do you think happened when they came to the masjid? They called Isa. Ya Isa, come pray. Make salah like this. Dua. Yadullahu. Allah musta'an. They call him Isa. Allah, this is what they did. And what could the Muslims do? Because they made the deal. We go to you, you come to us. Because they felt that this was majal da'wah. This was the way of da'wah. So, wallahi, what we say is that, wallahi, I'm one of the most outgoing people, especially with no vision. I will say to a person in a minute, good morning, how are you? I will make him talk. And I'll even imitate my voice to be Caucasian. Good morning, how are you? It works. Make him feel comfortable. He says, hi, how are you, buddy? I said, fine. One guy even patted me on the back yesterday coming out the elevator, because I hit him with that. SubhanAllah. You have to let the people know, man, we're not strapped with nothing, bombs and this and that. We human beings. We love people. Rasulullah was merciful to the people. So sometimes you have to go there. You can't say salamu alaikum to them. You cannot initiate salams to them. But you can say, how was your morning? How you feeling? You look good. Wallahi, they appreciate that. Wallahi, they appreciate that. They feel safe around you. Wallahi, they go and tell their people, I met some of those Islamic guys. Yeah, they're some cool guys. Then, after a month, you see him in the store, whatever, he has a question about the deen. He feels comfortable, he wants to ask you. Then if you organize something, you bring these kind of people, they have all kinds of questions. And be careful, because they read and study too. They read and they study too. So the point when we talk about this is that the deviant groups, Allah musta'an, and the politics, and we have to say deviant, we're not shocked. If you leave the way of the Prophet, this is deviation. If I leave it, it's deviation. There's no choice in the matter. And we understand that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said, يُرِيدُونَ يُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. But this includes their hands and body parts too. It's not restricted to just the mouth. They want to put out the light of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala with their mouths. But our job is to send back to them the good tidings, the good smiles, the good character, the good disposition. Don't give up. Don't fall into the trick either where now you're doing the same thing, trying to make Islam equal to Christianity and Judaism. It will never be. But make programs, invite them, educate them, feed them. Utilize your property. Do bazaar. Have the people come where they buy and sell, and you show them what they're expecting to see. You'll be amazed. Nah, what's the mom? Allah Mustaan. But this, Allah Mustaan, is the point I wanted to bring from what the Sheikh is saying.
وهو بهذا التعريف يشمل جميع الدين الرسل عليهم صلاة والسلام.
He said this يعني من الإسلام يشمل الماذا الأديان جميع الرسل, all of the prophets and messengers, because we're talking about submitting to Allah wa ta'ala on Tawheed, then this makes all of the prophets and messengers their message one. And Prophet Sallam, he mentioned Al-Anbiya Ikhwatun, Al-Anbiya Ikhwatul Lat, Ikhwatul Allat, Ummahat Shatta wa Dinahum Wahid, kama qala. That the prophets and messengers, they are brothers from another mother. Their mothers are different, but they're brothers because their deen is one. And this is why the Shaykh is saying this. You won't find them doing anything other than submitting to Allah wa ta'ala with their legislation and that which Allah gave them. And this is Islam.
فالرسل كلهم على دين الإسلام, كلهم مستسلمون لله بالتوحيد, منقادون له بالطاعة, مخلصون له العبادة.
Now, this point, how can we be upset to the point that Muslims go out, and we know sometimes this is stage two, it's not always Muslims. This has been done in the history. Don't think that it will stop. We can't cry every time something happened. It's not the Muslims, those are the people who are making the Muslims look bad. No, sometimes it's the Muslims. Other times, it's not the Muslims making it look like it's the Muslims. But the point is, how can we be upset when they draw an image of the Prophet ﷺ, they make mockery of the Prophet, to the point that we will go out and vandalize or threaten to harm somebody, when they do this about their own prophets and messengers. If you go read, and I'm not encouraging you, but I'm making a statement as a point, the points in the Bible, it's horrible what they say a prophet does. Some of us are more righteous than the prophet in the Bible. Allah musta'an. And this is never the case for a prophet that he's going to disobey Allah wa ta'ala, as Allah has already chosen his soul. Allah Azza wa Jalla has already purified him for the mission. Allah wa ta'ala, he said, Alastu bi rabbikum? Qalu bala shahidana. When Allah created everybody's soul, we say, well, how could that be? The same way when we sleep and Allah extracts the soul from us, but we're still able to hear some noise. We're still able to breathe, still able to get up, go to the bathroom. يسألونك عن الروح قل إن روح من أمر ربي. They ask about this magnificent creation, the soul. And then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told the Prophet to say the soul is something from the command of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. But we don't have much knowledge about this soul. From amongst it, how is it that it's already created before time? Because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because Allah has the power to do anything. So He created everybody's soul, including the prophets and messengers. Had them bear witness, and they were selected by Him, those souls, to be prophets and messengers. So there will never be any drunkards, people who make a zina, a'udhu billah, people who plot to steal another man's wife, like they said about Dawood, a'udhu billah. He plotted to steal a man's wife because he was lusting, so he had that man killed and then took his wife. A'udhu billah. And they say about Allah Musta'an Nuh alayhi salam, after they made it safely from the place that Allah commanded him and the righteous to leave, that he got drunk with his two daughters and a'udhu billah, some fahish. ايش هذا الكلام؟ هذا الكلام يعني خبيث، كفرية، استهزاء الله تبارك وتعالى وأنبيائه. This is kalam, this is speech, this is mockery and disbelief, mockery of Allah and the prophets in itself. How can now you think they're not going to make Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, the last prophet and messenger, the best of them, the chief of them, they're not going to make mockery about him? Of course. So our job is supposed to be now to be patient yani, with this harm, and not to react in the way that the people expect the ignorant to act. Wallahu musta'an.
فالرسول كلهم متجنبون للشرك ومعادون لأهله فكلهم مسلمون ودينهم هو الإسلام.
Now, so this you find again, all of the prophets and messengers, they submitted to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And yani, they were ماذا؟
نعم مسلمون دينهم هو الإسلام متجنبون.
نعم متجنبون للشرك ومعادون لهؤلاء. What does this mean? Wallahi, there is a point that some scholars they interpret from the knowledge they have been given, from what their minds understand, as Allah has created the mind to understand the text about the non-Muslim. Some of them have said it's not permissible to love the non-Muslim. So Tabarak wa Ta'ala said, لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو أبناءهم أو إخوانهم أو عشيرتهم. You will not find those who really believe in Allah and His Messenger. Pay close attention. Loving those who oppose Allah and His Messenger, even if it be their fathers, their sons, their brothers, and the people from their tribe. But what does this mean? What does this mean? This means, again, you will not find as the word yani love or mawadda, it means mail ila shay, to incline towards something. هذا بمعنى حب والمودة. Mail ila shay, to lean towards something, incline towards something. So if you find people with beliefs that are against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you cannot incline towards that. Like some brothers, they go to church and they go to Jumu'ah. Because they have some friends that are Christian, or they might have a fiance, Allah musta'an, a girlfriend, or Aunt Betty, or Aunt Sue, or whatever, they don't want to disappoint. So they go to church with them on Sunday. Muslim. Yashhad, what you Sunday, what you soul. He doesn't make the shahada, he pray, he fasts, he's going to church on Sunday. This does not make him a kafir, by the way. Just like some people think if you eat pork, how could he be a Muslim? He's a kafir. No. He's a major sense, he's still a Muslim. The point is that this is the meaning that most of the mufassirin they give about the likes of this verse. You don't incline towards the meaning. You're not with them in that which they are upon. You cannot celebrate that with them just because they're your parents or they're your relatives, or even, Allah musta'an, if they're Muslim. How many times have the Muslims lost their children to the bad Muslim? You say, well, I let her go with her because she's Muslim. And the girl that had modesty, when Nabi Sallam called with haya, shurba min al-iman, and being yani shy, doesn't mean she's quiet, sit in the corner, don't speak. La. This means she don't want to disobey Allah. It's the first level of shyness. And yakun, yani shoksun, bil haya, baynu wa bayna rabbih, that the person has shyness between him and his Lord. Doesn't want Allah to see him disobeying. Even in private, this counts. So you take the lady who's like that. She covers, she prays, she guards her private parts. 14 or 15, you let her go with the sinning Muslim. Now she comes back turned out, smoking cigarettes. Udu billah. Those long eyelashes that look like Donald Duck. Udu billah. Fake nails, lipstick, mafi salah wala tahara wala shay. Threw all of Islam out the window. Why? Because you let her go with somebody who had Allah wa Rasul. They oppose Allah and His Messenger outwardly. We're not saying that people know everything about Islam, or that people are like, as they say, holier than thou. No, we're not going there. We're saying that Islam is Islam. And even at the expense of being with the Muslim, you can't be with somebody who's openly doing wrong. You're going to suffer. So this is the meaning that we should understand when this verse comes, because the Prophet ﷺ, on the other hand, Allah said, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. It is not you who guides those whom you love, but it is Allah who guides whom He wills. Who was this ayat revealed about? Not you. Who knows why this? Somebody said Abu Bakr.
The Prophet's uncle.
The Prophet's
Abu Talib.
uncle.
No.
Abbas.
Abu Talib.
Abu Talib. MashaAllah, antum tulabu ilm. MashaAllah. Abu Talib. It was revealed about Abu Talib. Abu Talib can Muslim or laysa be Muslim? Abu Talib Muslim?
لا
Muslim?
لا
ليس بمسلم. Wasn't Muslim. نعم. طيب. وهل نصر الإسلام والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه? Did he help and support the Prophet and his companions?
Yes.
So did that make him Muslim?
لا
It don't make him Muslim.
لا.
SubhanAllah. طيب. Okay. Don't make him Muslim. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, it is not you who guides whom you love? If the other verse means that you cannot love somebody who's a disbeliever. To the left. Jama bain hadain ayatain. Bring both of them together. As this is a principle in the religion. If you have two ayat, they seem to be contradictory. Because remember, Allah's speech is not contradictory. It may seem to the person, but it's not a reality. If you have two hadith, Prophet Sallallahu went down on his knees. Hadith in Bukhari. You also have in the books of Sunan, Prophet said, La burkal ba'ir. Do not go down like the camel. How do you gather between both of those hadith of Sa'id? That's authentic. You throw one in the trash, you say, I like this one, man, I'm going to keep this one. You take the other one and say, this one I like the best, let me put this one on the shelf. No. We have to find harmony between both of them. How do we find harmony between? You do not guide those whom you love. And you will not find the believer loving those who oppose Allah and His message. How do we make harmony between those two? And the meaning, barakallahu fikum, إذا كان حب طبيعية, the natural love, this is the first way. That this is an exception. Because if you were to cut a person's heart out of his body, you can never take the love that he has for his mother away from him. That's his mother. إلى النهاية, to the end. His brothers, his sisters, his aunts, his nieces, this is the way Allah made by nasab. This is part of your family tree. Can't separate that from a human being except that you kill him. That's it. And this is why one of the reasons in slavery of every kind, especially in North America, the first thing they did was separate what? Come on.
Mother from the children.
Family. I say, come on, I feel like a preacher stuck for Allah. A'udhu billah, family, split them. One of the main things. You can't separate that. And the ayat where Al-Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentioned, you will not find a person loving those who oppose Allah and His Messenger. Some of the ulama of the past, like Imam Malik, rahimahullah, said this applies to the people of bid'ah. If someone is clearly on bid'ah, and it's been explained to him, and he understands, and he knows it's wrong, but he says, listen, I don't care what you say, mind your business, this is what I'm upon. I'm going to pray to the one in the grave, as long as my sheikh said it, in Senegal, because this is an Islamic country. And you can't incline towards him. Cannot sit with him. Cannot eat and drink with him. This is the meaning of love. Doesn't mean now you stab him, you kill him. No. The people understand these words from English. Hate. Oh, he said hate. It's just a strong way of saying be aware of that thing that will harm you, stay away from it. And this is how you join between both of those ayahs. You don't lean towards those things, those concepts, and situations from those people that oppose Allah and His Messenger. Why? Because the origin of the deen, as we heard before, is inqiyad. You have to submit to Allah. And if someone's playing tug of war with your heart, what chance do you have? What chance do you have to put your head in the lion's mouth and close it? You have no chance. From the 5 pillars of Islam,
نعم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أركان الإسلام. هذا الإسلام الذي جاء به الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ينبني على أركان هي دعائم
الرسول.
نعم.
المفرد.
نعم مفرد.
And Shaykh said that Islam here, when we talk about the 5 pillars, it is the Islam that the Prophet ﷺ came with, yani, that it stays. You can never have a part-time Islam. Those 5 pillars, they always have to be intact. Nah.
نعم. وكذلك ينبني على قربات وطاعات مكملة لهذه الأركان.
And likewise, the Shaykh is making a very important point that the 5 pillars are not just pillars, but they are made to be complete when a person attaches to those pillars obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and drawing near to Allah azza wa jal. And this we understand, yani, the Prophet he mentioned when he was asked, أي عمل أفضل في الإسلام وفي لفظ أي إسلام أفضل. One time the Prophet ﷺ was asked what are the best action in Islam. Another wording, أي Islam أفضل. What is the best Islam? So one of them gives the explanation to the other because there's only one Islam. So how could the meaning أي Islam أفضل mean which Islam is the best? This one from this country, this one from this culture, this one from this set. No, doesn't mean that. It means أي عمل في الإسلام أفضل عند الله جل وعلا. What are the actions that are the most preferred and most virtuous to Allah in the religion? So Prophet ﷺ, and this hadith which is in the Bukhari and Muslim, Ibn Umar, he said, and yut'imu ta'am, to feed the people who need to be fed, feed them. Like we do in Ramadan. People have iftar. Why? So when people come, you can feed them and get the reward. This is an example of Islam being coupled with obedience, with actions. وكذلك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذكر يعني أن أقرأ السلام على من عرفت ومن لم تعرف, and that you give salams to those who you know and you don't know. Again, this is not talking about the non-Muslim. It's talking about the Muslim. You're in a Muslim country. Everybody's Muslim. Or you're in a society or a place like here, for example. I know this brother over there, so I go, Salaam alaikum, how are you? MashaAllah. And I walk past 2 brothers sitting on the musalla, and I just prayed with them. Give salams to those who you know and those who you don't know, from the Muslims. And this does not mean, as Yasir Qadi, he mentioned in one of his talks, someone asked me about it, and then he played the audio, that Islam, given the salams in the religion of Islam, is a universal greeting. You could give it to anybody, Jew, Christian, atheist. هذا يعني ضلال مبين. This is clearly a strength. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى أن يبدأ بالسلام للأهل الكتاب. And because of Prophet he prohibited that you begin the salams to the people of the book. Because the salam, the ulama they mentioned, huwa dua wa tahiyyatun tayyiba min indillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a supplication. It is a part of the religion. And it is a greeting from Allah, a good greeting for the believers. Ma'na salam ayyi salama min al-afat, that you will be safe from every evil. So when you say salamu alaikum, you mean may Allah save you from every evil. Going out the door, falling, hit your head and dying. May Allah protect you from that. Going outside, getting hit by a stray bullet in a bad neighborhood. May Allah protect you from that. A car crash, sickness, depression, etc. It includes all of that. It also means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يُسَلِّمَكَ مِنَ الْمَعَاصِ, that Allah protect you from falling into sin. Who can save you from sin except Allah? It also means وَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ فِيكُمْ أَنْ يُسَلِّمُكَ مَاذَا مِنَ الْأَمْرَاضِ بَدْنِيَّةِ وَالْقَلْبِيَّةِ, that Allah makes you safe and purifies you and makes you healthy from sicknesses. High blood pressure, sugar diabetes, cancer, all kind of Allah musta'an, substance abuse, sicknesses, sickness of the heart, rejecting the truth, arrogance, sickness of the heart, lying, loving to spread lies, carrying tales, sickness of the heart, hating your Muslim brother or sister. وَعَذَابُ الْقَبْرِ, punishment of the grave. وَأَكْبَرُ وَأَشَدْ مِنْ ذَلِكَ الْعَذَابُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, and greater than that, the punishment on the Day of Judgment. When you give salams to a person, all of this and more is inclusive in the meaning of salam. And that's why it's not permissible for a person to begin that to the non-Muslim, because guess what? If any one of us die, upon other than Islam, then what did Allah say for us? Our fate is the hellfire. So how could it not be for somebody else? So it is not a universal greeting that you just wave around like Hotep, peace, Kwanzaa, what up though? My man's in there. لا ليس هكذا. Hello. لا. سلام ليس هذا. بل هو تحية طيبة من عند الله سبحانه وتعالى والدعاء. But it is something sent down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a greeting for the believers in the dua.
فكل ما جاء به الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم.
الرسول.
نعم الرسول هنا.
الرسول.
جاء به الرسول.
طيب تفضل.
وسلم. فكل ما جاء به الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم من أمر والنهي فإنه هو الإسلام. لكن هناك أشياء هي دعائم للإسلام وأركان له بينها حديث جبريل عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Here the Shaykh is saying everything that Prophet told us to do and told us not to do, as told us to do, falls in two categories. The ulama fiqh, they said matlub yudulla ala al-amr. Naam, when something is sought from you to do, that means you've been commanded. If your wife say to you, honey, can you bring back some vegetables, some orange juice, and bring me back a bag of ginger snaps, that becomes a command. She's seeking that from you. And so you should bring it back. So brothers don't like that. Allah have to, someone asks you for something. This is a command. It's amana. Then you should do it. So this is one type. Another type, if Sallam tell you, Allah musta'an, to grow the beard. This is a command. But these type of command, sometimes they are in the command form when something is sought from you, and other times these type of things that are sought from you are highly recommended. Highly recommended. So here, they're both inclusive. The Prophet tell you to do something or command you to do something. There's either he seeks something from you that takes the rule and you have to do it, or he seeks something from you that it's better for you to do it. Both of these are considered to be what's called Islam. So when a person says, man, the growing the beard is not Islam, yes it is. It's a part of Islam. Because the Prophet said to grow it. Alayhi salatu wassalam. And the Shaykh mentioned if the Prophet prohibits you from something, he prohibits you from something, then this is part of Islam. Prohibit you from debating and arguing. Allah musta'an. This is Islam. Some people say this is selling out, or this is the way of the people bid'ah. Nah, we have to find solutions. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, wasul khair. Nah, wasul khair. It's better to fix and rectify. Wallahu ya'lamu mufsidan min al-muslih. Allah knows the one who's making problems, messing up stuff, from the one who's really trying to fix and bring rectification. Now, so this is Islam. It shows you the meaning of Islam is very wide. It's not narrow, like some people want to make it. Just pray and mind your business, Islam. La. It includes that which Prophet came with of obligation, recommendations, and that which he told you to stay away from as a detachment, and that which is prohibition.
حديث جبريل عليه الصلاة والسلام أخبرني عن الإسلام الدليل على حديث ابن عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه وفيه يقول بني الإسلام على خمس.
This hadith of Jibril, there are a lot of lessons. Scholars have written volumes of books about the benefits extracted from this hadith. One of them is what the Prophet ﷺ is saying in this hadith, that Islam is one thing, Iman is another thing, Ihsan is another thing, but I want to make a point. Some people went to a conference, the ISNA conference, in our community back in North Carolina. The administration felt that we need to get the youth involved, so let's send them to ISNA and then they can come back and tell their experience. Allahu musta'an. One of the masjids in our locale. So when they came back, they gave some presentation and they said they learned from a scholar at ISNA that Islam is outward actions and Iman is the inward action. And that if a person has something in their chest, as long as they don't act upon it, Allah is not going to hold them accountable. And then they start to talk about these different things. And we mentioned that, yes, if Islam and Iman are in a sentence together, then Islam means a'mal zahirah, the outward things like the shahada and the salah and the fasting. And then Iman means the inner things, the taqwa, the fear of Allah, the khawf, the thing that will make you stay away from disobeying Allah, the raja, the thing that makes you do the deed hoping to get the reward, tawakkal, putting your trust in Allah. All of these are inner actions. They're called ibadat qalbiyah, actions of worship that are tied to the heart. But if Islam is by itself, then it takes the meaning of both. If Islam is by itself in a sentence, it takes the meaning of both. And if Iman is in a sentence by itself, it takes the meaning of both. And we know this from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which is the Bukhari Muslim, Sunnah Tirmidhi, where he said that Al-Iman Araba wa Sittuna Bid'un, that there's 64 branches to Islam in the hadith of Imam Tirmidhi. It says 69 and 70 also in Bukhari Muslim. And what did the Prophet begin with, although he said Iman? He said, A'la huwa mada? Qawlun La ilaha illallah. The statement, La ilaha illallah. So where in the hadith of Jibril, which the Shaykh is bringing here, the Prophet mentioned this Shahada under Islam. When Iman is mentioned by itself by that same Prophet, he mentioned the issue of Shahada. And that's how we know that if Islam is by itself, it takes both meaning. And if Iman is by itself, it takes both meaning. It seems like it's time for the Maghrib. Inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, we will stop here and continue after Salah. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه سلم تسليما كثيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا هو أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Pause if you think.